The people who take the MyHeritage test are just off the planet. Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel. I'm gonna be honest, today's video is going to be a bit of a rant. So as you know, I've done several DNA tests to help me with my family tree, and one of the obvious benefits of doing DNA tests are the shared matches that you get. So the shared matches help you in two ways. They confirm what you've already done in your family tree, and they also can help you expand your family tree by connecting with distant cousins and sharing your information. I'll be doing a video soon on making the most of your shared matches, but today I just felt like having a bit of a rant, as I said. So I've contacted quite a few of my matches on Ancestry.com and on MyHeritage, and I've had a real mixture of response. And I've realized that there are 4 different kinds of people who respond to my messages. The first one is the non-replier. Okay, fair enough. Maybe you just took the test out of some weird curiosity that you had about your ethnicity and you had no intention of taking it any further. So just go ahead and take your name off the shared matches list. It's really easy, and then nobody will bother you with messages. You can just go to your settings, and under the heading privacy, there's the option to not be listed as a match on Ancestry DNA, and the other providers have similar privacy options. Or you could just delete your test result. If you don't have any interest in being contacted, then I don't see why you'd have your name publicly available, because it's so frustrating when I make a fantastic shared match with somebody and I try to contact them and there's just no response. Okay, the second kind of person is the person who replies and they're polite and they're helpful and they're happy to share information with you. This person is fantastic. You can both benefit by sharing your information with each other and both build your family trees. And you can also make some new friends this way if you're looking for some genealogically inclined buddies. So this also extends to people who maybe are new at genealogy, or maybe they've been doing it for ages but they're still making a lot of mistakes. So what I'm saying is, if you're enthusiastic and you're at least trying to build your tree and you're trying to share what you've done, I think that counts for everything. Like just being a nice person. And if you share your research with me and there's mistakes in it or mistakes in your tree or anything, that's fine. At least you've tried. At least you've tried to build a tree. There's nothing wrong with that. There's no shame there. So right now I'm thanking those of you who've given polite, helpful replies to your shared matches. You know who you are and you are wonderful. Okay, so the third sort of reply is the person who has done no work of their own, but they want you to share all of your hard work with them. So maybe some people aren't aware that it's really poor form to expect somebody else to hand over all of their research without bringing anything to the table, without even trying, without even making a bit of an effort. The only case that I can think of where this might be permissible is like in the case of an unknown parent or like an adoption where the person is genuinely completely in the dark about their origins. Other than that exception, it is definitely not cool to approach your distant cousins expecting them to hand over their work. And the fourth sort of person is the person who has no clue at all what they're doing. So they do give you a reply, but it's clear that they don't know what they're doing at all. I'm going to give you some examples of some gems that I've gotten like this. I'll black out their names for privacy reasons. I'm not trying to publicly shame anyone, but I'm just trying to give you an idea of what not to do. Alright, my first example I'm going to show you is the barely coherent response. This person was an amazing match for me, and I'd narrowed it down to a branch of my tree that I'd had a lot of troubles with. My great-great-grandfather, Daniel Stewart McGregor, has an unknown father. So his birth certificate, his marriage certificate, and his death certificate, there's no father ever listed. It's just like unknown. So it seemed like it would be impossible to find this father after so much time's passed and with no names in any of the records. But I'd spent years trying to research this brick wall anyway. But once I did my DNA test, there were some hints that gave me some new theories, and this person was a perfect match to confirm one of my theories. It was a possible breakthrough. Like, this person, because of the shared matches that they had with me and other people, I just knew that they could hold the key to answering the riddle of my missing 3 times great-grandfather. So I wrote, "Hi there, we have quite a strong DNA match and I'm very interested in investigating. Do you have a tree?" And then I gave them the surnames that were relevant. But unfortunately their response was not only useless but barely readable. Now don't go getting all upset with me. It's probably not their fault that their 1-sentence response was full of spelling and grammatical errors. But as far as I can see, they don't have a tree. And secondly, they only know of 2 names. I mean, why on earth are they even here in the shared match list if clearly they have 0 interest in building a tree or researching their connections? This is one example of someone who should just, if you know what I mean. Alright, here's my second gem. The polite but mistaken response. MyHeritage was full of these kind of gems. Like, I had much more luck on Ancestry with my shared matches. The people who take the MyHeritage test are just off the planet. I didn't have even one helpful response from MyHeritage, despite the fact that I had some really close matches. It was so frustrating. Like, the people who take MyHeritage tests, no offense, but you're a bunch of kooks. Anyway, this one was a fantastic match with me, but I couldn't tell how we were connected because they didn't have a family tree uploaded. So no worries, I'll send them a message. Because a lot of people have private trees or they work offline, so, you know, I didn't think anything of that. So I sent them a message asking them if they had a tree, and what did I get back? Complete nonsense. Dear Vanessa, sorry, I don't have much of a tree, and I seriously question the DNA results. For example, it contains no English stream at all, and on the maternal side, there is a very strong line back some 200 years, so I place no store on the process. In truth, I only took the test out of idle curiosity, nothing more. Please accept my apologies, regards. Now let's just rewind and unpack this masterpiece. Firstly, I just want to say that I appreciate their politeness and straightforwardness, and I also appreciate their ability to form coherent sentences. But that's where my praise ends. Okay, so they seriously question DNA results. That's fair enough. Genetic DNA technology is still pretty new and, you know, it definitely still has its drawbacks. But this person and me, we were a pretty strong match. I'm not just talking about a little like 2 centimorgans or something. Like, we matched quite strongly, we were closely related, clearly. And it really doesn't matter whether they believe in the technology or not, we were related. Now the second sentence, see, that really gets to the crux of the problem. They're butthurt that they didn't get any English in their ethnicity estimate. They were so bothered by this that they needed to validate their position by claiming some 200 years of English heritage. Now I'm all for your pride in England, but let's not throw out the baby with the bathwater. Just because your ethnicity estimate didn't come back as you expected is no reason to completely dismiss everything to do with DNA. But as I've talked about in my ethnicity estimate videos, it's not really an exact science, but it is improving. And just because you don't get the ethnicity estimate you wanted is no reason to completely ignore your shared matches. So getting your knickers in a twist when you don't get the result that you wanted in your ethnicity estimate is so silly, because there's still a lot you can learn from DNA testing. Besides, they didn't need to convince me. I also got 0% English in my ethnicity estimate with MyHeritage, and I also know that I have some, at least, English heritage. So, you know, but I didn't lose my mind over it. Then we get to the third point, quote, "I only took the test out of idle curiosity, nothing more." Now, I'm not sure how much I believe this because they were so invested in their English heritage, but okay. I'll say it again, if you're not interested in doing actual genealogy, you're better off keeping your results private. Why waste everyone's time, including your own, dealing with emails, sending and receiving them, when you have no interest in actually doing genealogy? Anyway, at least they apologized, which is presumably an apology for making me read such silliness. And the third kind of response, is the useless response. This is another gem from MyHeritage. This is another person who I contacted who was a very close, strong match with me, but once again, I didn't know how because they didn't have a tree. So I made contact hoping to collaborate, and this was the response that I got. No tree, but what's the connection? Where are you from in Australia? His first word, says it all, doesn't it? Like, why would you write that? Why do you write Like, people say that when they're thinking. But anyway, the second sentence is a dead giveaway that you're not thinking. No tree, but what's the connection? Now, if I knew the connection, I would not be asking for a tree or even trying to collaborate, I guess, because I would know the connection. Anyway, the second question doesn't really get much better. Where are you from in Australia? Ordinarily, you might think for genealogy purposes, asking for someone's location can be useful because you might, you know, narrow down which portion of your tree it is or something. But, you know, even though I'm from Sydney, my ancestors aren't from Sydney, and even a couple of generations back, they're not all from Sydney. So it's not particularly useful to know my location. I just wish that I could show you the profile picture of this guy, because it would sum up why I found this question so off-putting. So like I said, I could give someone the benefit of the doubt if they just want to know my location. I sometimes ask that too. It can be helpful. But if you saw his picture, you'd probably know why the question was so creepy to me. So I can't show it because obviously for privacy reasons, that wouldn't be right. But this profile picture, it looked like maybe like a scary guy from a dating website. And now you're asking me, why would I bother to even message somebody with such an unnerving photo? And I'll tell you why. It was because I was trying not to be judgmental. Like, you know, profile pictures, it doesn't necessarily mean anything. Some people's picture doesn't really reflect them or something. So yeah, just because he's got a creepy photo, I was like, well, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Maybe he's actually a really great researcher. Maybe he actually knows quite a lot. Anyway, despite his god-awful response and despite creepy photo, I still responded. I still gave him the benefit of the doubt, just in case we could figure something out. But it was pointless anyway. I rattled off a bunch of names that were in my tree, just taking a stab in the dark that maybe he'd be related to one of them. But his response said it all. He had no interest in actually investigating it or pursuing any kind of genealogy research. So once again, why not just put your results on private or delete them if you have no interest in doing actual genealogy? Should I be concerned that I'm related to all these weirdos, or do the rest of you have experiences like this when you're contacting your shared matches too? Because I was starting to become a bit concerned that I had some sort of defective DNA. Please let me know in the comment section below, because I would love to hear your stories. Okay, that's it for this video. I feel like I have ranted enough. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps my channel out if you do. And make sure you hit the subscribe button so that you don't miss out on any future videos. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great day and good luck with your research. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye.